Hi everyone, my name is Rose and welcome to today's sewing video. So today we're going to be making a few special pieces for summer, and this is kind of the mood board that I'm going with. I kind of curated it. A lot of the fabrics I have purchased is from the secondhand store or the Lapis Market in Utrecht. And these are also pieces that are super well loved in my wardrobe, and I'm remaking again and developing patterns. You can kind of see the process from start to finish on how to make patterns from pieces you absolutely love. So I'm so excited about this one. Let's get sewing.
First things first, when I'm laying out the pattern, I just want to make sure to have extra seam allowances so all the patterns at the hem edge match up. Now, I did a couple of things off camera, which was like sewing down the center front seams, the princess lines. I'm adding the facing here for the center front, so everything is kind of nice and sharp and crisp. I really liked how this pattern came out all together. I'm adding the little pleating at the back here. Everything was just so nice and simple, and it came together so cleanly. Before the pattern was even complete, I just got so antsy and I had to see the hem edge. So I began clipping away, removing the extra fabric from the edge so I can see the beautiful scalloped edge. This fabric was a real last minute purchase at the Lapis Fabric Market in Utrecht. I wasn't initially going to buy it because I wasn't sure what to make, but this was the perfect shirt for it. Here I'm just pinning everything on the dress form, figuring out my pocket placement, and then the last couple steps were just to add the back stand, the collar, and add the pockets and the top of the pockets. Because I didn't have a hem, that kind of went a little bit quicker, and everything came out so cute. I love this shirt. The next up is we're sewing this McCall pattern. I saw this on Instagram by Brandy. I can't remember her last name, but I really loved how seamless it looked on her and how elevated it looked. I'm making the version B without the underwear kind of version. And I found this denim almost fabric at the Lapis Market, which I thought was really perfect for it. Now the top portion has a princess seam and also an underbust seam, so that part is double fabric. So I really loved the thought process and the construction of it. I just ran into a lot of details, as you can see later, because this top was a little bit big on me. So actually I had to take out 4 times the seams and fix it, I think twice or 3 times. I can't remember at this point.
So this is what I have so far. So I have the front and also the back. Voila, did the understitching. The last thing I have to do here really is add the sleeves. I'm a little nervous because it does look a little big. I actually haven't seen really anyone make this pattern, but Brandy herself. So it's a little concerning because I'm about the size of my dress form, and there's a lot of overlap here where on Brandy it looks like it's just going like this, even though I know there's about a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance on the bottom. It's just maybe a little big, so we'll see what we have to do. Maybe I have to undo some things and resew them, but let's see. So this is the first fit I'm trying on because I wasn't able to try this on without
adding the bottom portion. Now it feels really long in the shoulders, so I almost had, I think, like an inch and a half, it looks like, pinned out. And then I'm also pinning out about 2 sizes at the side seam. So to make sure that the princess line was matching with my bust seam, I had to take out all of my stitches and resew everything. I think I ended up going back from size 12 to the size 8, which is the smallest size. Overall, that was a little annoying and upsetting, but it came together really, really cute. There seemed to be some issue with maybe across the shoulder. I think maybe the pattern just didn't align with my body type, but I decided to not add the sleeve since, if you can already tell, it's quite off my shoulder, and I wasn't able to do any more updates for the pattern itself. So I decided to keep it sleeveless, and I initially wanted to wear it with this pants combo, so it's like the same denim tone. Overall, I really liked this, but if I make it again, I will definitely have to add some fit updates. But she was cute. Do you guys have anything in your wardrobe that is just super basic but is just your go-to? Well, this shirt is it for me, and I made this pattern one time. I think it was in white. I wore it to pieces, and it's time to make a new one. So I'm making it with this really cute striped fabric. And it comes together so quickly. I sew the front and back to its little short like bralette insert. I also had some under stitching because I like this like added detail just to make sure that the inside fabric doesn't roll outwards. Then I also sew the armholes of the same side bralette together, and then all you do is just attach everything at the shoulders. I just make sure that the bralette is with the bralette and the main piece is with the main piece. I make sure also that the shoulder seams are matching so that when everything is flipped inside out, those corners are nice and crisp. And this tank comes together, no joke, in like 15 minutes. The longest thing that takes place here is doing all the hems, because she's going to be on you in less than 2 seconds. So with the bralette to the bralette and the main body to the main body, you were also sewing the side seam all the way down and just meeting everything at the seams. I'm going from top to bottom, and then everything gets flipped inside out, and we're almost done. Now it's time to see all of your hard work, and it's just time to flip everything inside out. Last thing we have to do here is just check and make sure everything is lining up perfectly, and then all you have to do is your hem, and that was 15 minutes. Next up is another tried and true pattern of mine. It's the linen top, and I'm going to make the short sleeve version here. So I don't know about you, but I have too many scraps of fabric in my fabric stash, and this one was in my stash for probably 4 years. It's this beautiful pointel. So this beautiful pointel fabric was used for other projects, but I just still had just a bit left, and this just about used the remaining pieces I have, so I can finally save that space for something else. Now, all you have to do for the linen, it also comes together really quickly. You baste together the side seams, and then we're gathering the stitches and adding elastic. So what that does, it really helps to give you that really ruching on the side. And this, yeah, the past year I was pregnant and I wore these tops all the time. Now I'm currently not pregnant, but it's still in my wardrobe as a wardrobe staple and favorite. So this also comes together quickly after you sure the sides you're sewing the shoulder together. You do a little fit check, you add in the sleeves, sew the neckline and the hems, and then we're finally good to go.
So this is the final result of the top. I absolutely love this fit. I love how it's the placement of the front neck drop. Also, I love how this like hugs underneath my arm like this. I have those like little little underarm things that are so lovely. But I really love how this kind of like hugs them and hides that. I also love how it's fitting me on my chest. It kind of makes me also feel like, in some way, like supported. I think it's because of the understitching. And I love that it will even hide like my more coverage bras. I do think I'm going to do like another version where it is a little bit more scooped down, just like for like fashion purposes. But overall, this is my favorite top. I have it in one extra color, and I think I'm going to make it also in the denim from the previous more like seamed knit top, so that I have a couple versions, because this is definitely like a really go-to in my closet. And I just love it for everyday wear. And this is the other color. I really love it. It's just gray, but it has like a little bit of a tonal effect, so I like that a lot. I'm also, like I said, gonna make it in that blue like denim material, and there's a couple other fabrics that I'm eyeing from the store that I work in, so hopefully I'll be able to pick them up this week and just create them, because this was 15 minutes from top to bottom, 15 minutes.
The next top we're making is based off of this vintage shirt that I bought. I absolutely fell in love with it, but I wasn't really into the fabric. Also, sorry about my voice. I'm a little under the weather, but the next one we're doing is based off of this. In a previous video, I've already created this sewing pattern, and this is actually the third time I'm making this pattern. So for this version, instead of having that little band around the waist, I'm going to extend the length of the shirt so that it can be tucked into some pants. Now there's a couple different ideas I have here also for this top. One of them is staying as is, as the original vintage sample. Another one is the one that I'm making currently in this video. And another is having like a little sash, like you can tie in a bow at the side. So I didn't end up creating that version because I don't think I'll get as many wears out of it, but I thought it was a very cute one. So if this becomes like a pattern in the future, you guys can just keep that one in mind. Now for this version, I also decided to do a little construction change. So for the other two versions that I made, I followed like the initial sample was, where we had bias binding on the neckline, but I thought this was kind of tedious and time consuming, so I wanted to add a facing. So that's what I'm doing here. This ended up not working out that well, but you'll see that like in later video, and it actually doesn't look too bad. Last up, we're going to cut out our ruffles. So this one is double layer as well. I like to follow the same construction just because I really like this feature in the top and I thought it was really cute. Because I wanted this top to have like a really nice ruffle, it actually is in two pieces. So you just have to sew it together at the center front. I then end up taking the bottom edge to my serger to make this like really quick and easy, because that serger edge really helps to develop your nice clean bottom hem. And I do this for both ruffles, and then you can stack them on top because one is a little bit shorter than the other. So after you just go over all of your edges with the serger, you just have to turn them under and give them a nice little edge stitch so that it's nice and clean finished. If you're using a thinner fabric, I maybe suggest to double this so that you don't see the serger thread when the ruffles kind of fly up, but that's just for preference. This top comes together quite quickly, so I just make sure to sew the little bralette together on the side seams with the straight stitch and then the serger, but for the main body I make sure to serge the side seams separately because you do have like an open slit on the bottom. This is just like a little design detail. Initially this was for the bottom band, but I like this construction in general just because it's a little nice little feature that I see on a couple other little tops, and I thought that was cute to add. I ended up adding this little facing to it. It's interfacing, sorry, just to add like a little extra comfort so that it doesn't stretch out when you're sewing. And then everything kind of just gets sandwiched together at the neckline. It comes together quite quickly after this. After this, we're just pinning all of the things together so that everything meets, and your little strap, your spaghetti strap, is quite small on the top shoulder, and everything comes together quite quick and easy.
So just a little fit check. I really love this. I do, however, understand now the construction of why they would have the bias binding on the neckline, because even though I did like an understitching here, it is rolling out slightly because of the heaviness and the weight of the ruffled fabric. So I'm glad I only did this one time and I didn't repeat this for the other makes. I love this version. It's longer so that I can tuck it into my pants. The hem is not complete, but I do have like a little slit here. So I'm going to add like a little stitching here, finish the hem, and this one is long enough to tuck into some pants. And I think this is a really, really cute option. I'm glad I developed this pattern, and I will share the other makes with you right now. So this is the butter yellow version that I have. This is some silk. It actually was a bed sheet that I found at the store, but I found this at the secondhand store. I didn't have a comforter that would fit this, so I do have, it's a duvet, so I have quite a bit of this really beautiful fabric. I really love how nice and elevated it is. I am having a little bit of a hard time finding buttons, so it's still open. I don't know if you can see this on the side, but I'm just waiting till I find the perfect thing, so I'm not rushing. I would like to find like a smaller button that I can cover in the same fabric so that it just feels really nice and elevated. The silk is so nice and lightweight, and I really love this. And this is the final, well, this was actually the first fit. So I made this kind of impulsively out of this fabric. I had this in my fabric stash for some time and I kind of didn't know what to do with it. I wasn't like super in love. Initially I was gonna make, I think, some pants. But I'm so glad I made it into this little top. I think I'm gonna get a lot of uses out of it. So I made this top in 3 different weights. So just to see also how the ruffles are laying. So this is kind of like a little bit heavier. So this is like, I think like mid-weight, and then the lace would, the yellow, the lightweight silk would be lightweight. And then a more heavier weight is that first option, the blue top. The ruffles look really nice, all every single construction. So I do have like overlock here. That's kind of how I finish the edge, and then I just use that width to fold it inside and add like a little top stitch. You could also do double layer if you would like, but that would be quite heavy. So I would definitely only suggest doing that with like lace. With a silk, a super lightweight fabric option. Overall, I'm very excited and happy to wear these this summer. Yeah, so I hope you really enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up. I do have some more summer content. I'm gonna start draping. So the next video that you're gonna see coming up is going to be probably one of my favorites, because I'm going to be remaking all of my favorite items in my wardrobe. So these are pieces that are maybe vintage or store-bought, and I'm just gonna make some tweaks for fit, because these are like my go-to items in my wardrobe and closet. So you can kind of see the process of copying a pattern and then making fit corrections from that. So I hope you like this. Subscribe and leave me a comment below if there's anything you'd like to see, if you have any questions or comments. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.